Music is definitely one of the ways to keep our hopes high and to be able to navigate the challenges of COVID-19. And music gives us hope, inspires us, encourages us. And tonight we're going to be looking at music from the kingdom of Swaziland. It's Swatini, as we call it now. And this music is very different. Some of you will be shocked, the kind of great music coming out of Swaziland, and the message in this music is just something that we really need to look at and talk about. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. My name is Solomon Design Shams. Thank you for joining me in Solomon's Temple. If this is your first time, please do subscribe to Solomon's Temple. There's other exclusive videos that you can check out and find out what we've been doing. And indeed, even for tonight, I would want to encourage you to please share this on Facebook. Obviously, this broadcast on Facebook. And also, if you are on YouTube, please do share it, encourage it, tag people so they can come around and watch it. So tonight we're going to be looking at a great music group from the Kingdom of Swaziland that is Outcry. So you might be checking out the name in itself and like, how did they come around this name? So I'm not going to be able to do that. I have to bring them in just so they will do that themselves. So please help me welcome Outcry. They're in different locations. We have Chelsea, who is in London, isn't it?
It is indeed. Sunny London, shock.
Yes, sunny London. And then we have, I need to go solo on here. And then we have the three band members. They're out in lockdown, really locked down in Swaziland.
How's it going, everyone? Ryan Mandy, we got V, the great and powerful. Oh dear. And we got Lusikelo at the end over here.
Yes. So we got them all here, like a big team. They're a group of young people with great music and a band called Outcry. But to start with, the name in itself, I think I just looked at the name more carefully when I was doing the intro and said, okay, Outcry. How did it come about? Was there a cry from one of you that went out into the nation?
You know what? We were just really sad one day and started weeping.
Unfortunately, the story is not as dramatic as that. From what I remember, my little sister Shannon, who was playing bass in the band at the time, had a dream that we were part of a band and it was called Outcry.
Definitely, yeah.
I think that's the story. It's like short and sweet.
Yeah. But also, as far as I remember, so when we had a discussion around this name, it was the idea that God had given us this calling and he wanted us obviously to spread his word, to spread his message. So it's kind of like us crying out to the nation, just to share the word, to share hope, to share the gospel, to show that you can be a Christian and still have fun and still enjoy music. So that was like God's heart and us crying it out to the nation. That was kind of the message behind it. At least that's what I got when we had the discussion. So it had nothing to do with sobbing. It was more to do with heart.
Okay. The sound is kind of like fletching around. I don't know what's up with the sound. But we would continue and see how it goes. It was okay before we went live. So in the nutshell, it was just something that God really gifted you guys to say, look, this is who we are as a group, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And just tell me a little bit about your journey together. How did individually for you guys, V, where are you from? How did you meet Ryan? How did you guys hook up? Chelsea, who met who first? And was that in a church, from school?
Oh, I'll say at the start. Okay. All right. I mean, I can take this one.
Yes.
So as far back as I can remember, we've all known each other. Mm-hmm. I think I met Ryan when I was in grade 1. So we all went to the same church called Christian Life Center in Peak,
which was literally just like a tin shack on the top of a mountain.
Yeah, vibe. And it was really hot in there during the summer and really cold in winter. That's as far back as I can remember.
Yeah. And like we all used to play music together in the church praise and worship team.
Yes, definitely.
I found you guys like an album in.
Yeah.
Like after their first album, I like joined the party.
We met this guy when I was very young. My dad and his dad were very good friends, and we used to go to like each other's baby parties. Apparently, there's photographic evidence, but I have no memory of it.
Neither do I.
And then they left for a while, and then they came back to Swaziland, and then we like linked up once they came back.
Yeah. Like they were an album in. I was making music on my own with my brother
In Mozambique, of all
And
places.
then- and then like one day, Ryan and I were sitting like we were hanging off the back of a car. It sounds weird, but
Yeah.
yes, we were hanging off the back of a
yeah.
car, and I told him that like I have this idea for a song,
And
and
I'm blessed.
yeah, it was
Oh,
a song
yeah.
called "I'm Blessed," and literally since then we just never stopped making music together.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Wow. So how did the first lady come in then?
So Ryan and I are siblings.
Oh yeah.
So he was aware of everything that you guys are telling me now.
Sorry.
I mean, you were aware of everything between V and all the Mozambique thing and all that kind of stuff.
I think I forgot.
So you and Ryan, because I see your surnames are the same. So you, Ryan, siblings. Ryan is older. You older?
I'm older, although he looks older apparently.
Oh, okay.
I'll take it.
Taking shots here live on internet.
So for Outcry as a music group, as a band, was that something you guys just meeting together, playing around and getting to know each other? I mean, you guys have known each other for a long time, isn't it? At least more than 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah. So I actually remember the date it started. It was 2nd of October 2008.
Sure.
12 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the day.
He's the most intelligent in this group now.
He's good with numbers. He's very good with numbers.
You can say that. Yeah, so I remember because I actually missed the meeting where the guys had that. And then I came back later. The guys said, "Yeah, we're starting a band." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's great. I guess I'll be the drummer."
And I mean, we were kids at the time. We were playing music in high school, and our weekends would basically be either driving home back from Nelspruit to play shows, or it would be to play in church. I remember literally a group of our friends would come through from Nelspruit and from Mpumalanga, and we went to go play like Trade Fair, for example, which was one of the big ones back in the day. There was
Simunya Fair.
Yeah, Simunya Fair. Like 10,000 people or so?
15,000
people. And I mean, we were like teenagers, like 15
12
years old.
12, 13.
12 years old.
20 maybe.
Yeah. So it was really amazing to see what God was doing. Like while we were young and while we were coming up through there, like God was really just placing us on these platforms. I remember playing one show where Chelsea was like leading, and everybody's out there like completely drunk, but we're there singing like Christian songs. And there's like two people in the front row that are feeling it, and everyone else is just like, huh? Like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, I think just leading off that, one thing that we did find quite amazing though, even though we are a Christian band and we don't hide the fact that we're a Christian band, we found that a lot of secular events wanted to hire us and wanted us to play there. So like you mentioned, Simunya Fair and stuff like that in Swaziland is definitely a secular event. There's drinking, there's all of that that's happening. And with us, we didn't turn down that opportunity because we thought if we go there and we touch even one life, if we can touch one life, then it's completely worth it. So we, as Ryan said, we stood up there, we were playing our music, people are wandering around, they're drunk, but at the front of the stage, I remember there was a group of 2 or 3 people that were there, and they were almost like standing there in worship. They were just pouring out their hearts to God, and they were connecting, and it was because of those few people that for us, that stuff like that is worth it. So it was good.
Yeah, I saw that you guys play quite a couple of festivals, not just in Swaziland, but also in South Africa, which for me is very great because, you know, that's the right place to be a salt and a light, isn't it? You know, sometimes we conform ourselves to just church, but but church is always like preaching to the converted sometimes. You know, sometimes when you go out there, you never just know, maybe this young person, he grew up in church, but for the last 10 years, never stepped foot in church, or backsliding, or going through a whole lot of stuff and all that kind of stuff. And hopefully, you know, you reach out to them. So what defines your music though? How would you say, you know, what defines your music?
So as Chelsea said, there was a kind of a natural progression of our music as we matured. We used to be completely 100% a Christian rock band, and that's how we were branded. The problem with that, though, is that mainstream audiences wouldn't want to then take your music on. So we decided to play sort of in the middle ground. We write abstractly about exactly the same concepts. So it's still Christian principles of love and acceptance and triumph and perseverance and struggle. But it's never using God's word or God's name like directly. So if you listen to any of our music at the moment, it has like a double meaning, and there's like a whole lot of layering that's going on with the lyrics, which I personally like.
It's sneaky.
It's sneaky. It finesses its way in.
Yeah. So that's how we write at the moment. Similar to bands like Lauren Daigle, Switchfoot, they're not really falling within a genre, which Cher, our publicist, is struggling with at the moment. She's like, guys, just like choose one, man. Come on, it'll be so much easier.
Yeah, I must say though, you know, the approach that, you know, your lyrics though is not like you're not trying to preach, you know, but you're trying to convey certain principles. And I tell people quite a lot of times, like, look, if you go through the book of Esther in the Bible, there is no one mentioned of God. You know, it's a book in the Bible, but God was never mentioned. But if you look at the life and the themes and the stories, you know, Book of Esther, there are 10 chapters. God was never mentioned, you know, but it's in there. And we know Esther, we know Hadassah, we know Mordecai. We always talk about these stories because there are so many principles there. So it's just the way that you communicate, you know, what God has put in your heart. And I think it's always going to be effective, especially if you want to reach the culture that we're in today. And it's important for us to continue to do that. But before we go on, you guys have a song that you want to give us so we can have a listening session. Is this from your new album or from one of your albums?
So it's from our latest album. It's on our latest album called When We Collide. The album's called When We Collide. Yeah. This song we're going to do for you is a song called Storm, which I personally really like, and I think it's Lucy Keda's also favorite guitar riff of all time.
Oh, yeah. Be very careful with that. I step into the sky, and all I feel is love. A passion in your eyes, reflected from above. Despite the clouds and rolls of thunder and tears mixed with the rain, I'm dancing 'cause the sun will shine again. So let the rain wash away the hurt, the pain. Through the hurricane, I'll stand in the eye of the storm. My heart free falls. Each beat is in your hand. I step into the sky, the rain of fear is done. I don't know the reason why, the journey just begun. The winds may pick up, start to build up, remind me of the pain. I'm dancing 'cause the sun will shine again. So let the rain wash away the hurt, the pain. Through the hurricane, I'll stand in the eye of the storm. My heart free falls. Each beat is in your hands, and I know just keep standing.
Okay.
And hope is on the
Feeling
rise.
down, you wanna quit, you wanna cry, you like to say, you feel alone, you're not alone, we love you, not on your own, cause life's tough, you wanna die, think about those who gon' cry, family, friends, parents, kids, ask them why you did this, God is holy, God made you, why would he wanna break you, on your knees, you say your prayer, but still you think, he can take his mystery blessing, coming way, all you gotta do is wait, I know you think it's hopeless, but you also have your brighter days.
And I won't be afraid of the chaos that rages in the storm. The clouds will fade, the sky is torn, the battle rages, it's all around. The time is now, so just keep standing. Hope is on the rise.
Ah, wow. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. So this is from your latest album or from your other album?
That's from our latest album, When We Collide. Yeah, you can find it on Spotify, iTunes, all those
Music.
Apple Music. Yeah, all those good streaming.
Okay. So you have one album out now, or how many albums do you have?
Officially or unofficially?
See, there are a couple we don't want to mention because
Yeah,
they were bad. It's really bad.
Unofficially, we did a couple recordings here in Swaziland where the quality was a little bit questionable. So yeah, we have one, and that's available on all of the streaming platforms at the moment.
Okay. And then you have an album coming up, Where We Began. Is that an upcoming album?
No, that's the current album.
That's the current album. And tell me about the single Butterfly. I watched the video, which I found
what did you think?
very good story, actually. Very good story. I was trying to get to fuse all the different elements there, as you know, to be able to connect it to the lyrics. You know, that's how I always think. You know.
Well, can I tell you the story that went behind it? Then you can see how it links together?
Sorry.
Can I tell you the story that went behind it? Then you can see how it all connects together.
Yes, please go ahead.
So basically, the first time that we recorded in Cape Town, at the studio we record is at Belleville Studios with Theo Kraus. We were doing a crowdfunding campaign to raise the money because it's a very expensive process. And there was a reward system that if you donated £10, you get a free download of the album. If you donate £500, we would write you a song. And we finished the crowdfunding campaign, and to our amazements, one lady had actually donated £500. We're like blown away.
Wow.
And we wanted to say thank you to her. We're like, yo, we really want to write you a song to say thank you. What can we write about? And she said, no, her daughter is far away from her at that stage, and their relationship was really strained. And we're like, we can write about that. So I bought a big bucket of KFC, went over to Luciano's house, and we wrote this song called Butterfly, which is from the perspective of a mother to a daughter, saying all the things.
Did you buy the big box of KFC with the £500? Is that the money from
Nice budget. Nice budget. Thanks.
trying to understand accountability there?
So yeah, we did a quick demo for that song, recorded in Luciano's bedroom, actually. I remember we were sitting on the bed and we were doing the vocals there. I sent it through to the lady and I didn't get any reply. I was like, yo, did you get it? What did you think? And she said, no, the song was great. There was just one problem. I was like, what's the problem, man? No, she couldn't listen to it without crying. I was like, yes. Like, yes. So she actually sent it through to her daughter, who called me up a couple of days later saying, is this Ryan from Outcry? I was like, yeah. She's like, no, I just want to say thank you so much. It's like all the words that were being said were coming from our mom, and we managed to reconcile our relationship. I was like, God, music bringing people together. It was so cool.
Oh, wow. You know, there's love from Swaziland, or from the people, Swazi people here. Precious.
Where's the
Precious.
flag?
Love you, Precious. We just couldn't tell you until today.
So she's you guys are represented. But it's quite when I watched that video, I just, you know, for me, you can have that video on BET, MTV, you know, this, you know, these certain places, and you're not gonna outrightly say this is a Christian song. You just know this is a good song because it's really talking about life itself, you know, and also the challenges of, you know, just like you said, you know, being a mother and then you have a daughter and all that kind of stuff, you know, and also obviously for a young woman, the challenge is also relationship and whatever, you know, and it's very important. And I wanted to ask you guys, just being, you know, based in Swaziland or coming out of Swaziland. I know, Chelsea, you are in London right now, but what are some of the ways that you guys are reaching out to, especially young people? Do you guys do like prison ministries or schools, that kind of thing, or camps to be able to reach out and have conversations around some of the social challenges in Swaziland, like HIV and AIDS, or let's say sexual immorality, which is almost like it's okay, you know, and then there is also, you know, abuse of alcohol and all those kind of things. How do you guys engage those kind of issues?
Well, that's a tricky one. We used to be involved in something called Warriors for Christ. We used to go to schools and basically try and show people that Christianity isn't under one umbrella, that like you have to dress a specific way, you have to act a specific way, you have to speak a specific way to be considered to be a person after God, pretty much.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah. Also, well, in recent times we haven't really done much in going out, but we recently had a youth conference that we attended a couple of months ago. That one was just, I think that one was about relationships.
It was about relationships.
Yeah. So it was really the speakers there did a lot of talking about great stuff there. But yeah, we haven't been together much in Swaziland because Ryan
I'm
just
based out the country as well.
Yeah.
I'm just here for lockdown.
Yeah, Wandile is based in Mozambique. Ryan was based in South Africa for a while.
Yeah, and I mean,
So-
before quarantine hit, we had a lot of plans and shows and everything that were lined up. I mean, obviously, then everything just kind of grinds to a halt a little bit slowly. And I mean, ultimately, all our plans and everything that we've done, I mean, there's nothing that you can do to change that. So we're trying to make the best of the situation at the moment. So we do live music from quarantine.
From this very
Yeah.
From this couch.
This is the studio.
Yeah.
Wendy here has a YouTube channel where they do outings and adventures and tackle some of the issues that we're dealing with.
Oh,
at the
great.
moment. But what Wendy was talking about earlier, the Warriors for Christ, is we started a youth initiative in Swaziland that basically challenged people to take a stand for godly principles in their lives. So we did like a whole show. I think we went to almost 20 different high schools at
Many
this stage.
schools, yeah.
Like many high schools.
Yeah.
And we just went around the whole country challenging guys to take a stand for these principles, which was what? Faith, love, and purity.
We did that in India as well.
We did also. So we've also been on tour a number of times, and every time we've gone to India, for example, that's been a similar theme that's recurring, where we're challenging people to really just take a stand for those principles in their lives. Many schools.
Yeah.
Like
And even there, we have to be like, you can't go around screaming Jesus God, Jesus God. So you have to
Yeah.
like finesse.
So I mean, because India is a predominantly Hindu country,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to say the word Jesus or
Yeah.
Christ, something like that. So
Yeah.
it's challenging, but it's something that I personally really love, because the biggest take back for me from all of those things is literally meeting one-on-one with some of those people that come to see the music and come to
Yeah.
what we have to say, and the stories of the people who are persevering and doing amazing things all over the world is just so inspiring and so encouraging, and it gives us energy to just keep on.
So like I personally get surprised when people say, yo, your music really touched me, because you know, for us it's just we love what we do and we put our heart into it, and it's actually sort of shocking when it hits someone in the heart. So
Yeah.
I think that's a humbling part of it.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And I see you guys have traveled a bit. You know, you've done quite a bit of trips to India, a bit of trips to, was it Nashville, Tennessee?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and also I think the UK. But for Chelsea, for you, just being the only lady, how do you represent the female gender, and how do you try to make sure that you inspire other ladies to be able to embrace and do their best to be Christ-like?
I would say so. I'm actually not the only girl in the band. Our acoustic guitarist Felicia is also there.
Yeah.
But I think now, especially when we went to India, there is a culture, and we do find quite a lot in Africa. There is a culture of patriarchy and of males not just being the head of the household, but being the head of the woman as well, and being in charge of everything. And my personal belief is that you should be equals, you should be partners. That's how it is. No one's greater than anyone else.
It's not your personal belief, it's a biblical belief.
there we go. So that's where it comes from. So I feel like when I get up on stage, I think everyone sitting there on the couch will agree that sometimes I will get asked to speak and deliver some form of encouragement and stuff like that. And once I get going,
yes,
I like, it's almost like the Holy Spirit comes over you and you deliver this message, because I want to show young women that you can be intelligent, you can take care of yourself, you can do all these things and still remain true to who you are and who you are in Christ. You don't have to conform to what people think you should be. You don't have to pretend to be weak, basically. So if you are intelligent, don't hide your intelligence because you're a female. If you're strong, don't hide it just to seem lesser than what you are. Embrace the gifts that God has given you and just stand for that, basically. So I feel like the way that I live my life, I'm a strong female, not just character-wise, not just the way I speak. I'm built physically strong. That's intimidating to some men, and I embrace that because that is who I am, and I'm proud of that. And I just want women, regardless of age, regardless of body type, skin color, anything like that, embrace all the gifts that God has given you. And don't be afraid of hiding parts of you because you don't think it'll be accepted.
I like the fact that you're bringing all this out, because in South Africa, this month is Women's Month, and that's that has been the conversation in itself. Patriarchy is real in church, at home, on the streets, workplace, schools. That's just the way that it is, But that is very unhealthy. That's not the way that it should be, So I like the fact that you're speaking out. You're a strong woman, just like my wife.
Yes.
My wife is a very strong woman, and you just have to appreciate that. You have to appreciate that people are different and unique, and also for men especially to understand that, and for women to also embrace who they really are, like you said, and be able to hold on to it and really make sure that they keep becoming the best that they can be. So finally, before we get your final music, I actually have Hilton. I'm not sure you guys know Hilton. He's my guest next. I'm going to be talking to him just now. He's from Jesus Collective.
Yeah, good, man. You good, man?
Yeah, Hilton is the founder of Jesus Collective. It's a music movement around South Africa, working with quite a lot of artists, going to some of the places where young people need inspiration, and doing that. So I'm going to be speaking to him next. But before then,
quarantine, bro, give us a shout.
So you had that, Hilton, right? After quarantine, give them a shout. So, but where can people get your music, and where can people connect with you guys and follow some of the stuff that you guys do?
Okay, I guess I'll take this one because I'm our social media manager. So we do have an Instagram account. It is Outcry Swaziland. We also have the main place that where we communicate, and that will be our Facebook page. That's also Outcry, 2 words, Swaziland. On there you can find all our music videos, all our random shenanigan videos of us having fun and posting challenges and connecting, you can always feel free to drop us a message and we will respond as soon as we can. As for our music, it's not just on Facebook. You can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on iTunes, Apple Music. Have I covered everything? I hope so. Spotify. I was listening to us on Spotify the other day.
And always remember, it's Outcry, 2 words. And please check out, you must check out, if you're watching right now, please, you must check out their video, Butterfly. I really love it. I love the elements that really, put it together. So please check it out on YouTube. Make sure you support them and follow them. But guys, thank you so much for coming. And I really appreciate you guys, and all the best. And I hope that we're going to be able to talk again. As you are you guys gonna go play out with Butterfly or what?
Yeah, we can if you like.
No, if you can go, you can do whatever you want to.
Butterfly. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for having us.
I wrap my cat as a piece for us.
I lie staring at the night sky. Memories of a past life, never meant to let go, hoping that you come home.
I let you go, but will you come back? Put you on the runway, hoping that you fly back. It was on my wish list, never in an instant. Could I see the void be more than just a distance? So fly, butterfly, no matter what happens, you gon' shine, butterfly. Cause even at a distance, you are my butterfly. And love is always stood the test of time, butterfly.
Still alive with this beating heart, it slows down. Afraid the healing of my heart will take you over. I live my life in my own time, towing the line, but I keep the memory of your love in my heart to help me define. You and I never meant to grow apart. I thought you pulled the plug, letting all the pain. Though I tried, but never could hide feelings inside. The recognition of my heart is that your love is still mine. I'm staring at the night sky. Memories of the past night. Never meant to let go, let you go. And I see shadows of the mystery. Baby, while with me, hoping that you come home. Never gonna let go.
More than just a jam to me. The way the pain and hurt could always hold you down to gravity. A heart full of bullet holes. Words we couldn't. It's hard to lost the heart, it's old trying to the heart that's in the chest is just an ancient artifact. My heart is in your hands, and I know you keep my heart intact. So fly, butterfly. Cause even at a distance, you are my butterfly.
Hey, I'm still alive with this beating heart, it slows down. Afraid the healing of my heart will take you over. I live my life in my own time, towing the line. Keep the memory of your love in my heart to help me define. You and I never meant to grow apart. I felt you pull the plug, letting all the pain. Though I tried, I never could hide feelings inside. The destination of my heart is that your love is still mine. I am staring at the night sky. Memories of the past time. Never meant to let go, let you go. And I see shadows of the mystery. Following me, hoping that you come home. Never gonna let go.
Thank you guys so much. Woo! We had so much fun up in here. It's been a while since we played the song. Fly, butterfly.
I live my life in my own time.
Hey, fly, butterfly.
I tried and never could hide.
Come on, son, let's go. Fly, butterfly. Hey.
Staring at the night sky, memories of the past. Never meant to let go, let you come home.
Thank you, guys. God bless.
Thank you.
From one interview to another, right here on Solomon's Temple. We're here and we're looking at what we're going to be what we're going to be talking to, I have a guest in the studio. I'm sure you met him earlier on, and we're going to be talking to him just now. I'm sure he can join me right now. Yes, Hilton Petersen.
Hey,
Hilton is a founder of Jesus Collective. And Jesus Collective is a movement, music movement, and they've been doing quite a lot, especially around the Cape area, Western Cape, where they've been really reaching out and really using music to inspire, some of the young people that are in places where they would never imagine that they would meet some of the artists that we have in South Africa, and to meet them and to sit down and listen to them inspire them through music, which I feel is really a great thing. So when you think the Western Cape, obviously, when you think the farms, where people are there, some people grew up there, stay there, never left there, and that's where their life is. There's a lot of social problems. There's teenage pregnancy is rampant. Abuse of alcohol is huge and huge and huge. There's gang wars and all that kind of stuff. So as a young person, you would have so many options, but a lot of the options presented to you are not really, the best. So Hilton is really trying to inspire young people to be able to do that. But he's here. Hilton Petersen, founder of Jesus Collective. Thanks so much for joining me, man. It was easy to come in, isn't it?
Yeah, it was very easy. Yeah. Thank you so much.
But thanks so much, man. Thanks for joining me. Let's talk about you before we talk about Jesus Collective. Let's talk about you. Just you just growing up. I know you grew up in the Western Cape. What sort of environment, community did you grow up with, and how did you avoid some of the social challenges, the options that that may have taken you away from who God is?
Yeah, no. So look, obviously, I grew up in a place where our family comes mostly from Aston, and when we spoke today, we found out that we got a mutual friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm from a small town called Aston. It's just outside Robertson. Everyone knows the wine that they drink and all of these things.
Yeah, Robertson.
Yeah. So I'm just a town about after that now. So I'm from Aston, and yeah, look, obviously I went my primary years, I went to another town. We went to a different town called Verliesdorp. And this is now where the apples and all of those fruits are coming from. And then later years, for high school, we moved back to Aston, and this is where we lived. And so obviously it's a poverty community. It's not people are unemployed, a lot of high rate of unemployment. Yeah. Although we have a factory in our town, it's just means of life. It's just difficult to get by, and so it's a town between two things. It's Robertson and then it's Montague. And when I always explain to people, they say, "Look, you can't sneeze, otherwise you go right through Aston." So this is where I'm from. There's just this attraction. There's a train that's there, and people come and they take a picture at the train, and that's about it. But we've got beautiful people in our town, and our love for Christ. No matter the circumstances that we found ourselves in, people love God, and that is why I think this movement was birthed in Aston, because I'm from there. And so I just wanted to bring some hope back to our people, because the word says, well, it's just a saying that I believe in. It's if your road has become of one who've been privileged, you should never forget the innocent you've left behind. And so I never look back and make sure that your blessings keep staying blessings, because people, when you look and forget about the innocent you left behind, your blessing can turn into curses. So that is where I've just got the initiative by doing it. And so we've been doing it on a small scale since 2013, with myself and Loiso Bala and Mahalia and Sipokazi Komalo. And it was on a very small scale, and we just supported a pastor friend of mine, Pastor Angus from Acclaimed Church. And so we just started outreaching until Jesus Collective was birthed. Obviously, it was now through brokenness.
Wow. So it was just something that you never really planned for it, but your heart was just trying to reach out. So it was more like an outreach, reaching out to the community, reaching out to certain sector of the community. And what was God saying in that time when you started and when you got to a certain place? What are some of the things that you've seen in the early days that actually inspired you to just keep going? What are some of the results or some of the changes that you see in the community?
Yeah. So look, my birthright obviously comes from a deep and very, for me, a challenging life as a youth. When we moved back, as I explained to Aston, we moved to a three bedroom shack, and so this is where I lived for 18 years. You know, so I lived in this shack for 18 years, and I heard my mother.
What do you mean? Because some people don't really understand that. So when
like,
you say
it's just tin, obviously.
Yes.
It's like in Johannesburg they call it the zozo, and Afrikaans we call it the hockey, and it's like the sack. It's like a place where you just look, you use tin and you build your house from tin. That's basically what we do is. And so there we lived, and I had a mother that really prayed and she really served God. You know, I just saw how she loved God and loved God's people, and had a beautiful authority for healing when she prays, and people got healed. Doesn't matter if you're in cancer stage 4, didn't matter if whatever your situation might be. And I just, as a child growing up, I just saw my mom really loving this God that she served. And still every morning 4 o'clock prayed for our house with brick walls, obviously, believing it for 18 years that it's going to happen. Then I grow up, I see the circumstances, and I don't see anything for 18 years.
Yeah.
And so that was really confusing to me. And the fact that what I love about a prayer was that every time at the end, she would then say, thank you for the house, her own shower, her own kitchen. And God made it possible. And so I saw through her life how God really, you know, the word says, I think it's Matthew 16 or John 16:16. It says that he says, for a little while you won't see me again, and for a little while after that you will see me again. And so the disciples ask, what is he referring to when he speaks about a little while? So for some people, a little while might be a 1 year, some people might be a 10 years, some people might be 8 years. But for my mom, a little while was 18 years. And so really 18 years, every morning she had to be diligent. She had to be forceful with her prayers and believe, basically, to know that God will open up a door one day. And she believed and never wavered in her faith. So I really saw as a child what God can do. And I wanted, just because I've seen it, and our slogan for this year is witness, evidence, and overflow. So I have witnessed it, and I have the evidence of overflow that God can bring to any person's life, no matter who you are, because there's no respect of any person. So I saw it in her life, obviously, that God is real, and so I wanted to bring that hope to my town and to the region that I'm from. And so this is where in 2013 it was really for the main reason of people in our communities, because we don't get to concerts, because concerts is either in the Grand Arena in Cape Town, Grand West Arena, or you have to go to Johannesburg if you wanted to see Eloise Obala. And so I thought the best thing for me, giving back to my community, because I love music, and my mother played the accordion, I can play the accordion, and my whole family is just musical, you know. And so I just thought, like, the first part was just to bring these guys to our town and then share the word of God through music, and then obviously bring that hope, because music was, after all, the thing that helped me. So I just thought, in my healing process, whatever I went through as a young man, really music helped me. And so I just wanted to bring that back to the community that I'm from. Then it evolved into something different, obviously, when my mom passed away, and I was then done with the work of God, and I was just giving up, because the enemy preached to me to say that, here's your mom, she couldn't live, the God that you serve couldn't keep her to live. You know what I'm saying? And so I went into a secret time of really giving up and letting go of this God that my mom served. And so then again, Matthew 16:16 came then, where Jesus asked, he says, who do they say am I? So for many years, I spoke of the Jesus that my mom spoke about. And then I had to go into the era or in the season where I speak about the Jesus that has been good to me.
That's quite an amazing story. You know, now I'm beginning to see how your life journey actually sort of like evolve into your passion and your motivation for Jesus Collective. And Jesus Collective, tell us about the first outreach that you guys had with maybe Loyiso or whoever. I know Loyiso also, he's a good friend of mine. You know, I've taken him to Nigeria before.
Yeah, okay, yes.
Do some stuff in Nigeria. I'm originally from Nigeria. And
Okay.
so, like, what was the first time that you guys had? And I'm sure, like, most of your concerts or most of your events, if not all, is free, isn't it?
Yeah, it's free. It's all free
Yeah.
of charge. All free of
Yeah.
charge, yes.
So what was it like? What do? You have music, and then what exactly happens anytime you have these outreaches in these communities?
We always explain to people that it's something when you explain on these platforms that a Jesus Collective is this way, but it's never the same way every time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I can give you a small of idea of what it is and what it entails. So Jesus Collective is obviously then through Julius Obala, knowing all the other musical artists and artists in South Africa in gospel. Then he obviously opened up that door and that gate. You know, it's been very instrumental for me in this regard, you know. And so we had the likes of Ntokozo Mbambo. We had the likes of her husband, Nkobeko. We had the likes of Lebohang Gapola. We had Mahalia Buchanan. We had Sipokazin Komalo, Veronica Meyer, which is from Cape Town. Spencer J. Kennedy, he's also from Cape Town. We had Byron Levi from Cape Town. We had David Yankees from Cape Town. We had Jonathan Rubain from Cape Town. We had, I'm not missing somebody, we had Lengiwe Tombela. And so those were the artists that we started it off right in the beginning. And so we had this, like Loyiso said to me one year, when after the death of my mom and going through that space, I then decided, and he says, look, let's call this thing the collective. Meaning the collective is, yes, and Ernie Smith, obviously. And then meaning the collective is, yes, we have the collective of artists, but Jesus is the center. So that's the only star for the night. So that's one thing that I just want to be clear that's the star for the night. So I had this thing when we started first is that I had this long line after the thing, and I asked the artists quickly to just, if they can just take pictures, and it's around about 2,000 people, if they can just allow me. So that was one of my kind of rules that I wanted to give back to my communities, you know.
Yeah.
So in a normal night we will have we'll start off with fast praise. We started off with fast praise, and then just as the Spirit leads, obviously. So we will have every weekend we will have a theme going into a night. You know, we had one now over the weekend, and because God spoke to me about recovery, and so that will be our one, recovery, victory, and so that will be the one that we focus on. So on that, basically, we will have a praise, and whatever theme is God that's given for that evening, we'll push into that atmosphere that we normally don't get to go, you know.
Yeah.
And so then we will just push in the atmosphere and try and push through. And another thing for this is then when we get to a space where there's two things that we go, because that is the ultimate thing. It's for financial breakthrough, it is for healing, and then it's obviously for sustainability. It's for wisdom and knowledge and about who God really is, you know, through music, because it was soul that was, and God, and the word says that God let him, the bad spirit, come upon him. You get my point? So
Yeah.
God allowed the bad spirit to come upon him, and through music the spirit then left, you know. And through music the spirit then left. And so that is the concept that we took. When David came, he didn't preach anything, he just played music, and the words is that the bad spirit then left. And so that's basically what we do through music, hoping that whoever comes in hopeless, no matter what they use, how they got there, we know that if you leave that place, you can't leave the place the same. So the main aim for us is souls. So we have a break until getting to a time where we pray for the sick, and we believe God for the healing of those people. And then later on at the end, just before the night ends, we open up the altar for people, for souls. And ultimately, whoever pastor we've connected with at that time, they then look after those harvests, those seed that came in to their churches. And so that's basically on a night where we go out to the rural areas. Doesn't matter, Aston, Robertson, Montague, Bonneville, Wellington, Paarl. We've been to Mikasa, been to these places where these artists would never be able to go.
Yes. Because I mean, this kind of areas, they're small towns, and they're not just small towns. They're like, farm-run farms. So normally, if you want to experience these artists, if you want to be in the presence of these artists, you have to go to Cape Town, or you have to go up to Joburg, that kind of thing. Normally, they wouldn't go there. Maybe they can drive or go for holidays or whatever, but they wouldn't go there. So a lot of the churches would not even be able to afford them, and all that kind of thing. And the people there would not be able to pay that kind of money to come watch them. And I'm sure your relationship with the artists, for them to be able to understand the vision, with you and Loyiso putting your heads together and getting them down there in itself, that's just amazing. It shows that the artists themselves, they have a servant heart, that they understand the concept, the idea, and the vision, and to be able, because they have to come out of their way, for them to be able to make it out there, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I sometimes get to a space where somebody was like Loyiso would then ask someone, and I've never met them before. And then they would come for the rehearsal of the sound check the night before. And so we have that relationship of, if I've met the person before, then it's obviously, you explain the vision, and then people catch on to your heart quicker. You get my point? And then there's this instances where I meet the person for the first time before the outreach. And so they come in with obviously thinking, what is this thing all about? Why? What's happening? And they're trying to suss the situation until the last night, and they then immediately then buy in after that. So that is basically for me where I loved what God has transitioned in this time for us all, is for one to become a family first of all, to understand that there are new people, there are people out there that are in need of a word, they are in need of a song that needs to that they've been hearing all along, like in my time of the loss of my mother, the song that Ntokozo was singing was Jehovah is your name, and before she even came to one of our things, that was the song that I listened to. So most of the things in the prior part of Jesus Collective was things the songs that my mother liked. And so I brought all of those people to sing those songs. And so now God has evolved now in a space where now we believe God for the songs. They send their song list, they come in and they love the people. I mean, no one is now anymore in a hurry to leave, to go home. I'm only struggling with Ernie Smith still.
Ernie Smith, he wants to go and see his wife and kids. But it's quite amazing, because it seems like the artists come here now, coming into the whole vision, not really understanding it, but at the end of it, even themselves, they get ministered to.
Definitely.
It's not just a one-way thing. God wants you to minister. It's not just for people to receive. You, as the minister, should also receive. It's very important. We must not think that we just give to people and that's it. Whether you're a preacher or a singer or whatever, but it's a two-way thing. Somewhere, somehow, God is going to bless you with something. God is going to encourage you whilst you're ministering, and that's just so amazing. And I see you guys have put together. Is it an album together? You have a collective album together?
So yeah, what we're doing now is we have identified a few songs that we had a songwriting retreat in the beginning of the year. And we had Langa from We Will Worship that came into the structures, and everyone there that's part of the collective, that whoever could make it. And so we had the songwriting in the beginning of the year, and we were just, because our plan is at the end of the day is just to create a album that goes into the earth. And so we have been writing a few songs. The first song is so we have got 3 right now. So the one is In You, based on In You I Trust. I think it's Psalm 21. And then we have an Afrikaans song. It's called God's Plan. God's plan for you is Jeremiah 29:11. And so we in this journey of writing songs, because we don't just want to write songs, we wanted to come from a place to be able to bless someone, whoever listens to that album, to be blessed and to be encouraged, where there's no hope, to bring hope, where there's loneliness, to bring a companionship, so that's basically what we are busy doing. And so we collective, like I said, is the artist, but collective is we have BVs that we have also started now to develop and to empower. And so they also bring an item on a night. And so I've also inspired them to also start to write, because they also have dreams at the one day to also be an artist in their own right. So they also empowering that writing skills right now. So that is basically what we're busy doing right now.
Wow. So there's quite a lot of people commenting here. Here's some comment from Super C. So he said, "Go ye therefore and make disciples." Thank you, TJC, the Jesus Collective, for soul winning and discipleship. And then we have Ndiuyo there saying, "Wow, Hilton, I give glory to God for your life." Then we have, there is one actually has been saying, who's brilliant, said, "I've been looking for this man. Please hook me up with him, Solomon." Yes, I would hook you up with him. Just inbox me. And so there's just comments. There's just comments from people saying hallelujah for souls, souls for the kingdom. And Pule saying TJC. So obviously the movement is growing and people are really beginning to be aware. Not just because the Jesus Collective is present, but the message that the Jesus Collective carries is beginning to resonate with people, and they're beginning to like, oh wow, this is something that we should look out for. And I see, what are some of the other projects that you guys have been working with? I know you have a Collective Records. What is that really all about? And also, what are some of the projects that you're working on now and also hope to work in the future?
Yeah, so obviously we, like I said, for the thing is we obviously in an end time space, and Yeshua is coming back. So we just want to be that remnant worship right now that's just focusing on Yeshua and just focusing on the soul. So for people to be told that look, Jesus is coming back and you need to be ready, Yeah. But in terms of the things that we now need to do on earth is we also started a collective records label. So whoever artist obviously in our group for now first is in our group wants to be, and I think Ernie Smith is now and first it was Spencer and Sipukazi, and now it's Ernie Smith. So we're starting this label slowly by slowly.
Spencer is actually here watching.
Take in.
Spencer is here watching.
Okay, I can see him now. Yeah, so
hashtag TJC.
Yes.
Hello, Spencer.
Hello, Spencer. Spencer is now. No, let me not say it here. But anyway, so we now starting out the label, obviously, and a publishing company, just to obviously to keep it in house. We have acquired a building now as a place, because wherever we go, we just have to rent and hire, and so those we are believing God for really things, and the thing for us is to let people use these facilities and make use for people. I mean, there's upcoming people, and people ask them enormous amount of money to do a show and all of these things, and we just want to be a blessing as the Jesus Collective to people, because we understand that the journey that everyone as an artist are going through right now, and everybody has a dream, and we're born with a dream and a vision from our Heavenly Father, and I've just seen this Jesus Collective being a tool right now, a vehicle right now to transport people from wherever they are now into the next segment of their life and the next season of their life, and now that's the part that Jesus Collective is now outside of the ministry is also doing at the same time.
That's so brilliant to hear. And I must say, you guys, the Jesus Collective, there's a hunger for righteousness. that I
Yes, sir.
feel you guys definitely have a role to play musically, especially to be able to feel that, you know, people
Mhm.
are really hungry for the truth. And when I say the truth, I don't mean the truth of just, you know, you want to live a good life and all that. No, hunger
Yeah, no.
for Jesus, you know,
Yes,
like,
sir.
you know, like, hey, you know, my life depends on it. I want to trust God more and more. I want to be able
Definitely.
to believe Him. I want to be able to give Him my everything, my life, you know, total surrender. I think we're
Yes.
at that place, and the fact that you are actually local, you know, I've been following the Jesus Collective from like through Loyiso, you know, but not really having a, you know, you know, but he kept drumming it and kept drumming it and kept drumming it. So
Yeah.
I know he now stuck at me, but never really got to get the gist like I did right now in front of you. You know, you just telling us
Yeah.
you know, the
Yeah, I know
vision.
you should come to one, because you see the thing for us right now, it's we're not myself. I mean, as a visionary of this thing is, I'm not searching and for stardom. I'm not for
Yeah,
importance and recognition.
absolutely.
For me, my thing is very simple. You know, we in this time, like you say, when people come in, it's when people came in, and even in the last day before Jesus was ascended, he walked with people and no one recognized him. Do you understand? And
Yeah.
so there are many believers that are having a walk with Jesus, but they really don't know who Jesus is. You know, they haven't had that encounter as yet to know the evidence, the witness. They don't have it yet. You know, I mean, simple thing is Jesus comes and they pointed him up out to the poor, and Jesus says to them, but don't you know that the poor will always be amongst us?
Yeah.
So, but that statement alone, God has already excluded us from being poor. Jesus
Yeah.
has already excluded us from being poor. And
Yeah.
so when he says that the enemy has come to kill, steal, and destroy,
Mm.
you know, who destroys after he kills you? You get my point. Everything in life is about a legacy. And so once the enemy can kill your legacy, then he basically destroyed you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of people that were buried, and if you want to look now for their grave, you don't know where to go for grave,
Yeah.
because the enemy has killed, and he has killed their legacy. And so, but then
Yeah.
the word says, scripture after that, he says, then the verse after that, he says, but I have come so that you can have life, and life in abundance.
That's
You
right.
know, so
You are
that
part
is,
of, you know, you are part of your mother's legacy. So
yes,
I don't know where she was buried, but you are here. So it
yeah,
should says that the legacy is living.
definitely, Solomon.
And before we close now, before I get your just different, what are some of where are some of the different places that people could hook up with some of the stuff that you guys are doing?
Yeah, look, we have the Instagram page. It's Jesus_collective, the Instagram. And then we obviously have a Facebook page. And so on these two streams, we will have on social medias, we will be able to see what is our next thing, you know. And so we're just having online with 50 people as regulation for now, in this few months in this lockdown. And then we're just hoping for that time. And I said to the people, I said when we had our thing on Saturday, I said, we as a church has been too quiet, and I'm putting a demand, and we put a demand in the spirit, you know, that this is COVID is not our battle, it's God's battle, you know, it's the
Right.
Lord's battle, you know. And so we are just putting a demand that by September at least, you know, at least if we can just get 300 people, 200 people. It was David in Psalm 42, he says that how his song is so longed, and after the water brooks, you know, after the presence of God. And it's nice, online is beautiful, and it's beautiful, and people's life can be changed, but it's the presence of God that changes things. It's the presence of God that makes you ever comes in broken to be healed, you know. And so we are believing really for the soonest, you know. I was saying to somebody, if the president says tomorrow 300 people, I'm the first one to do a outreach. Yeah.
It's
So
evident.
we basically see on the Instagrams and the Facebook wherever we go, because we always post the posters on there.
Okay. And I must say, it's evident what you were saying, that you don't just talk the talk, but you walk the walk. Because of this comment from Brilliant. Brilliant said, Hilton, I'm so happy you don't really know me, but you once paid rent for me. You paid his rent but you don't really know him. I'm happy to see God using you in this mighty way. You are so humble and you carry too much. So you paid his rent. And here you say you don't even know him. I'm not even sure you remember the name Brilliant Hilton.
No, not at all.
So
Yeah, no.
this is, for me, it's an evidence of what you are doing,
Sure.
what you carry. Again, where you don't just talk the talk, but you walk the walk. You know, so all I can say is whoever is even watching, wherever you are, you know, this is what it is. For us as Christians, this is the testimony that we should hear from people. Not just about ourselves, but about others. Listening to the Vision of Jesus Collective, it's about people. It's not about others. You know, you must relegate yourself. You must relegate yourself and take yourself out. That's what it is all about. And until we get there, you know, we can never make Jesus the center, like you said earlier, and we are just the collective. You know, we cannot be the center. And we all want to be the center. Because of sin, because of our flesh, we always want to be the center. But we cannot be the center. That's not the way it was crafted. That's not the way God crafted it. So I want to thank you, Brother Hilton. I want to thank you.
Very much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for carrying the vision. Thank you to people like Loyiso, Spencer, Ennis Smith, Ntokozo, Ngobeko, Mahalia, and to SK. Thank you for everyone who's been involved in this, because I know that for them to buy into the vision, they have to take themselves out. It's a sacrifice for a lot of people.
Yes,
you know,
definitely.
Sacrifice for a lot of people. And it takes a great man to sell a vision to others where they would sacrifice and be part of it. Normally, people want a vision where they would put in something and get something more out of it. You know, but this one, you know, the reward is in heaven. And I really want to thank you so much. You know, comments are still coming in from people and all that. And everyone commenting, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, Solomon's Temple. Please subscribe now. And we're going to have a lot more other videos. But I want to thank you, brother. I want to say God bless you.
Thank you, Solomon.
My first time meeting you today. And I hope that I'm going to see more of you. And hopefully, you know, support what you guys are doing as much as
you're coming to the next one, man. You're coming to the next one. You're coming to the next one.
Yes,
definitely coming to the next one.
Definitely, I would avail myself. You have my number now. I have your number, so
definitely.
But I want to say, God bless you. God bless the work that you guys do. Thank you for. I have a good. You know, I love the Cape. I love the Cape area. You know, and I know the challenges that are there. But for you to go down to your Jerusalem, you know, and be able to kickstart something that would inspire people is really amazing. So thank you so much. Really, God bless you, man.
Bless you, sir.
And any last word from you?
Yeah, no, I just wanna encourage everyone. You know, it's the thing is, it says it's in your private crucible, private personal sufferings that God makes the noblest dream come true. Greatest gifts given unto you. Why? In compensation for what you went through. And that's just my encouragement for everyone, man.
So thank you so much. And everyone, I hope you're listening. Just encouragement to everyone. And thank you for everyone also today for watching. There are so many videos on my YouTube channel. Please check it out and make sure you get to watch some of the videos. And don't forget to subscribe. I'll be back again on Monday. On Monday, I'm bringing in 3 different authors, female authors. You know, they've written books, amazing books, some of them true life stories, like one of them whose father actually, you know, shot the mother and then shot himself, you know, and she had to carry the family. And today she's married and also blessed with a baby. So going through that kind of situation is very important. Well, thank you so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend ahead of you. And I hope that you're going to be able to continue to be who God wants you to be. Good night.
Is social media even social anymore? Our streams have become billboards instead of meaningful interactions. Our data is being sold to the highest bidder. And then there's cyberbullies, fake news, inappropriate content. It's become a war zone. Do you want a simple and safe way to connect? Introducing Squirrel. everything you love about social media without the distractions. Squirrel keeps you connected with the people you care about without compromising your data. And Squirrel is invitation only, so strangers and bots will never pollute your social pages. And with 0 ads and no data mining, you can finally love social media again. Create unlimited channels with different people and discover more meaningful connections. Squirrel is also safe for children to use with full parental oversight, and your data is encrypted and guaranteed to never be sold. Love your newsfeed again by controlling your content through your connections. For just 35 Rand per month or 100 Rand for your family, you can have the social media experience you deserve.